Hey, Suresh.
Hey, Leon.
Good to see you again.
Yes, I've not moved.
You've not moved. Oh, I last saw you like 2 minutes ago.
Glad to be here.
Okay. Hey, let me ask you a question. I was just looking through my Facebook.
Right.
Do you use much social media?
I am right now. My most social media usage is probably checking LinkedIn, trying to do more posts around LinkedIn and everything else. Honestly, I haven't closed down my Facebook account.
You haven't closed down.
I've closed.
You have closed.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you were using Facebook, did any of that influence the way you look at the world, manage your money, or behave yourself?
I mean, so for me, it's more not about me logging into Facebook and searching for something that I'm looking for. Sometimes when you're looking at a feed, I mean, I use YouTube a lot. So if you look at social media, so I use YouTube a lot. So that's my social media go-to, right? And it's more like entertainment and everything else. And you get all these adverts coming in, right? So you tend to watch adverts and everything else, shoved in your face and everything else, because everyone thinks that you want to be a millionaire tomorrow, or those kind of adverts come to you and everything. So that's how I get my social media feeds.
Okay. It's the virtual equivalent of walking down the street and you get people shoving pamphlets to you, right, to advertise their services.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at social media, isn't it right now we are open enough to say majority of social media is more hinged on entertainment or using it for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, some of it. I do use it to keep in touch with people I know, or I know what's going on in their lives.
Yeah, but if you just look at the amount of time that I mean, communication is pretty straightforward. You want to communicate A to B. You used to have a phone. You became SMS. Now SMS is becoming WhatsApp. And it's just what social media, or if you call WhatsApp a social media, it gives you more context to it. You're able to send photos, pictures, and everything else, right? So your conversation is supposed to become more rich.
Well, for WhatsApp you can do one-to-one more easily than you can do through, let's say, your Facebook. Right?
And you can do group calls now.
You can do group calls, right?
Yeah. And right now they've inserted polls.
Yep. Although like I see sometimes in group chats, somebody inevitably will hijack that chat, right? Maybe start advertising services and start dominating everything.
Right. Yeah. So that leads me to the very nice topic, right? For topic, we pre-discussed this a bit. Okay. I mean, we are both of us are in the financial planning industry and everything else. How do you see social media changing the behavior of people? Let's focus on a certain segment of people, right? Let's focus on people who are probably retired, or probably people
going into retirement,
pre-retirees and everything else, right? Maybe including housewives and everything else. How do you think social media is affecting their behavior towards financial planning or towards upgrading of their financial knowledge? Do you think it's positive overall, or do you think it's negative overall?
I think it's neutral, right? You do see a lot of like noise in social media, right? And there's obviously good pieces of information available on social media, but there's a fair bit of noise and distractions as well. I give you a good example. So people do know more, they get more information. So when I was serving somebody about 6-7 months ago for a financial solution, right? And that person asked me, hey, I read that with this solution there are some special discounts if I sign up by when and when, right?
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So again,
but not from you.
Not from me.
Okay.
But he would have got the discount anyway, right? So that would be good information being fed on to somebody, right? Again, that's very factual. Sometimes you do see on social media people giving advice based on opinion. That is when you have to exercise the right judgment to understand where this person is coming from. Does this person have a specific agenda? Is it right for this person to be saying A, B, C rather than D, E, F? Yeah.
Right. But you see that, I mean, we see, as you said, the information highway is broad.
Yes, very.
Information highway is hitting you at a speed that you can't fathom, right? And every time you open the phone just for a little while, something is coming at you and everything else, right? So it's easy to say that you got to be have a clear distinction of whether it's a
Yep.
facts
Yep.
or opinions
Correct.
and everything else.
Yep.
But don't you think it's much more harder
Yeah.
for people to consciously implement it or think about it? I mean, think about the number of scams that's going up.
Yes, it's difficult. First of all, I mean, some people are very skeptical of what they read in social media.
You
Right.
think so?
Some,
I mean,
I say some.
okay,
Yeah,
some.
Yeah, I didn't say all. So I
Okay,
qualify.
okay.
You know, again, as with you know, you don't read a book and take in everything at face value. You don't
Right.
read an article in a newspaper and take in everything at face value. So why should you do the same in social media?
So let's talk about some specific
Yeah.
example. Okay,
Yeah.
both me
Right.
and you are quite well read.
Yeah.
Okay, well read. You know, we like to spend our time trying to prove our own theories wrong. Okay.
Yep.
So in that sense, okay,
Yep.
let's go into some specific examples
Yep.
that recently
Yep.
came to you, and you said, okay, there's something really itchy about it.
You know, I mean,
Okay.
the examples that always come to me for some reason, maybe because I click something,
Right.
is that you get this person telling you, you know, if you're buying stocks, stop doing that until you come and attend this class.
Yeah,
you know, we
yeah,
do
yeah,
this,
yeah,
we do
okay.
that.
Okay.
You know, most of my
Okay.
students have been making like 5-figure a month using this technique, blah blah blah.
Right.
Look, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So let's say going from a point of doing due diligence,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So if someone sees this,
Yep.
what do you think are the top 2 or 3 questions someone should be asking themselves to decipher, A, should I spend more
Yep,
time
yep.
getting into this, clicking the next link,
Yep, yep,
which goes into
yep,
obviously a landing page where you got to register yourself for
Yep.
the talk and blah blah and everything else, right? What are 2, 3 questions people should be asking themselves?
I mean, first of all, does it even look legit, right? Although it's difficult to say, you know, sometimes obviously you get a scam call.
But that's the thing, right?
That's a giveaway.
Look at the people we are targeting right
yeah,
now in this
yeah,
talk, right?
correct,
We're
correct.
talking about retirees, households,
yeah,
everything
correct.
else.
So-
They come through a track of not acquiring the knowledge to see quickly
Yep.
what is real with what is right. So how do you? I mean, what question should they be asking?
I should be asking, does it sound too good to be true? Really?
But it's subjective, right?
It is very subjective. But if somebody is telling you you're going to make like 200% every 2 weeks, that really sounds too good to be true, right? It's not even subjective.
So let's be very specific,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're in the financial planning
Yeah,
industry and
yeah.
everything else. So do you think if anyone says you can make more than 10%
Yeah.
returns a
Yeah.
year, should they start being suspicious? Would that be the number 10% or 8%?
I mean, 8 or 10 would be quite
Okay,
realistic.
that's
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
first thing that
yeah,
we're
correct,
going to
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Anyone says
Yeah.
anything more than 8
Correct,
to 10%,
correct.
okay,
Yep.
get your radars up.
Yeah, get your readers up, get
Right.
your red flag coming up. Yeah.
Red flag coming up and
Yep.
everything else. And
Yep.
if you do pursue that,
Yep.
try to ask more
Yeah.
qualifying questions. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Second one. What other things should they
Second
look out for?
one, is this a reputable source, right?
Right,
Does
exactly.
Does it look like a fly-by-night?
Right. I mean, when I say reputable source, I think that's an excellent point, right? Most of these people, gurus or Setu, I mean, so that's a scam. I know the guy says that you can improve your success of trades by using this planetary system, right?
Yeah.
Doing your trades in this planetary system kind of things, and they've been able to forecast trade moves months ahead,
Yep.
years ahead,
Yep.
days ahead. And let me tell you, someone who can do that, you wouldn't be selling you a course online. Trust me.
Yep,
Okay?
yep.
So look at for those people who says that it's a proprietary trading
Yeah,
method,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The word proprietary,
Yeah,
right? That should get your
Yeah.
radars up.
The third thing is, if somebody is messaging to you saying that this is going to be easy, it involves no risk, oh, please.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
If it smells like a rat,
Yeah.
it is a rat. Yeah.
I mean, the whole adage doesn't
Yeah.
not go through. I mean, it goes through different kind of versions, right? I think right now social media is bombing you with so much of
Yeah.
easy
Yeah.
kind of thing. I mean, going back to the gurus, I also
Yeah.
understand,
Yeah.
what is this guy's profile background, right? Does he have a certification, right? Does he have a CFA, I mean, Chartered Financial Accountancy? Does he have a trading license? What's his profile? If he doesn't have anything else, then it's just like a fly-by YouTuber,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
where do you think a YouTuber is going to make his money from? It's not from his proprietary system,
But from?
right? From your training, from you, right? So go into that, and
Yeah.
it doesn't take
Yeah.
you that much of time to search for that
Yeah.
before you even spend one dime or walk through the door
Yep.
or even click on the link,
Yep.
because your time is precious.
Correct.
Right? You rather spend the time, money in a pub watching Liverpool play Manchester United. Okay, hell of a game last
Hell of a
weekend.
game. Right? And the thing is, with social media advertising, it's a lot cheaper than it is on television.
Right.
So you get bombarded with a lot of these. Like,
Yeah.
for example, for the last like 3-4 weeks, I've been bombarded with, things about the announcement of the closure of the SA accounts for somebody who's over 55.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. It's always the flavor of the month. Right. So that was the flavor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is that do you notice how some of this advertisement comes up, and people are getting smarter, right?
Yeah.
So they have a channel, they have followers, right? And in the comments, followers are thanking the premium players.
Right.
And the so-called financial guru only shares with you is positive results. Shares students' sentiments, who gives you only,
of course, only the good testimonials.
Only the good testimonials. How much I've earned thanks to you, right? But come on, guys, right? Anytime you get in the financial planning market, right? There is bad news, there is good news, because that's how the market works, the volatility, right?
Exactly.
So look at someone who's being able to share the holistic picture. Someone who says, I made my mistakes. Okay, I have good days, I had bad days. Okay, that sort of guides you around. Okay, am I going to get real stuff for you or not?
Well, that's the problem I have around social media, because everything is made to sound so rosy.
Yes.
Like the world is in such a perfect condition.
Yes.
I mean, even with the non-financial stuff, you see people post on Instagram, on Facebook, the pictures around, beautiful scenery,
right.
Nice high-end cuisine, right? Exotic places,
right?
Yeah. Nothing about the mundane,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we coming from a financial planning industry. I mean, our advice, it might be boring, right? But it's a tried and tested method, right? Anytime you're doing something, whether it's investments or whatever it is, you got to start in the right way, right? A proper financial planning profile, right? Sitting down with someone, a financial planner, even a friend that you know has done well and everything else, right? Sit down and go through your goals and your objectives. I mean, if you do not know what is your goals, right? How do you know what kind of risk that you need to take, right? So that's one thing about social media, right? So when social media pushes this to you, it doesn't look at the risk profile of the person who's consuming the information, right? So imagine what is the risk profile of a housewife auntie, right? Who manages a household of one income, right? 2 kids, right, just going to grow up and everything else, right? And imagine a risk profile. Risk profile is not going to be the one that's saying that go and buy Nvidia stock and Meta stock.
Well, with social media, it's very much one-way street, right? They're trying to do a one-way communication. So it's very generic. There's nothing tailored.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing specific, right? So it's, again, they have to sensationalize certain things.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the courses as well, right? Most of the courses is one blanket fits all, right?
Correct.
Because that's the easiest way to sell the course. So imagine the person who's selling you the course saying, okay, Mr. Adam, please sit down. Let me go through your profile, let me go through your risk and everything else. Okay, this is what we need to do, and I think investment trading is good for you or not good for you and everything else. That's the hard work that we feel needs to be put in to understand yourself, even before, for me, even before you allow yourself to be consumed or distracted by all these things out there. Because again, we go back to the question, right? What's your framework? I mean, what are you looking for, right?
Well, I think at the end of the day, a proper financial plan is onerous work.
Yes.
It's laborious work. It requires a lot of calculation, a lot of detail analysis, right? It's got to be from the grounds up.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's got to be tailored to the specific situation. Right. There should not be empty promises. Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got to understand, and this will apply for as long as we live in this world. That there's a trade-off.
Yes.
Right.
There's always a trade-off.
There's always trade-off.
There's always a if someone tells you you're putting $100,000 today, right, and you're going to double the money in let's say 3 months, 3 months time or whatever, there is a trade-off.
There is a trade-off.
There's a trade-off, right? There's no other ways that you're going to earn $200,000.
No,
right?
I mean, the trade-off is always around things like, do you want to consume more today or tomorrow?
Right.
Do you want high risk, potentially higher rewards, or low risk, and obviously the returns are going to be low? Right.
So we're talking about higher risk, right? So for example, I mean, we're not saying that $100,000 cannot go to $200,000, but what we are saying is that if you get the opportunity where $100,000 go to $200,000, that same equal opportunity most likely will tell that $100,000 can go to $0 as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because the volatility goes both ways, right?
Correct.
So you can't say I can only participate in the upside.
And not.
And there's not the upside.
And no risk to the downside.
And I think that's where I have a big grievance of all these social media people pushing things to you and everything else. They always talk about upside.
Who wants to sell the downside?
The downside, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's, I mean, and people seem to be swayed away, right? Especially, we talk about the segment of the older segment, right? The more wiser segment, everything else, right? But the younger segment, right? Who are coming into this world where obviously they want things fast. The fast is the game, right? Fast is the game.
Like we're talking about cryptocurrencies, aren't we?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah,
the shine of cryptocurrencies, right?
Right. It was like 32,000, and then it becomes like 64,000. That's Bitcoin within 6 months.
I've met most. Luckily for me, I met most group of people who have invested some money in cryptocurrency. People who are willing to say, I'm okay for that money to go to zero. Because it's a totally speculative investment, right? So if your mindset is changed to that, okay, fine, go for crypto, right?
But not when it forms the backbone of your financial planning.
Exactly, right? So again, your profile is really important. So the information that comes to you should be catered to who you are as an individual, your profile assessment, everything else. And I think that's where the social media overall fails big time.
Yes.
So I mean, we've talked about things which are been just more on the bad side of social media, right? So let's go on the other side, right? Where do you think social media can positively influence behavior of people? In which parts?
Again, depends on which segment we're talking about, right? For example, let's say our segment, the not so young, the 40-ish, 50-ish, right? I think it is a good tool if you know how to leverage it. For example, if I see somebody post something on maybe Japan, a picture I've not seen of in Japan, though I've been there 15 times. I'll be intrigued. I'll be thinking, ooh, wow, what's this place? I want to go there the next time around, right? So it gives you valuable information. Sometimes you get good health tips on social media, and then sometimes you get tips on how to save money. For example, you do get the odd good advertisement every now and then, especially if you're into online shopping. You see, Shopee is pushing out this bottle of wine that used to sell at 40 is now 32, and then you think, that's pretty good value.
Right. I do see that. I see a lot of value for people participating on the prudent side.
Correct.
The prudent side of their finances, right? Helping their bottom lines, right? Where people participate in Telegram groups, WhatsApp groups. In all these platforms, they got group buying.
Yes,
right?
Group buying.
Group buying, group sharing, and everything else. And I see at that part of the day, they can use social media to get to know of these deals, information-wise. It's nothing to do with you going out there earning more money, but it's helping you saving money for you to buy things which you anyway you're going to buy anyway, right? You're going to go and buy the shampoo anyway, you're going to buy the food anyway, Maggi anyway, but it helps you to get into those deals that helps you to save money, right? And I see that across all platforms that helps people.
Correct. And sometimes there could be some sort of awareness created. For example, I have a dog at home, and then sometimes you get some article about a dog saying how you can make it more obedient, some sort of training, right? Some advice, again, you got to take some pieces of advice with a pinch of salt.
Right.
But by and large, you got to be selective. You also got to have a healthy dose of skepticism, especially when that piece of advice or supposed advice is being pushed out by an advertiser.
Yes. Okay, okay. So we've covered some part that can be put on. But where else? Where else? I mean, so we're generally talking about good deals.
Good deals. We're talking about prudence, right? Look. I mean, if you're not so young, if you're 45, you're 50, social media is not going to shape your attitude towards a lot of things.
So if you're a person who's thrift, you're
thrifty, you won't all of a sudden see somebody post something nice on Instagram and say, I'm going to go to that restaurant that charges $500 a person, right?
Right.
And likewise, look. I mean, we're set, and if you're prudent, as you say, you're still going to be prudent, right? You might be thinking, who on earth spends $500 a meal?
Right.
Rather than no, I'm going to try that.
So on that part of good deals and promotions. And recently I have an episode where I was looking for a vacuum cleaner. So someone in our office bought a vacuum cleaner, a certain model which I'm not sure of, and they promoted that to me. I mean, they pushed that information because I asked for it, right? And you go to Shopee and you see, and you put in the cart to see, hey, where's the best price coming up and everything else. So it is good because it shortened my time and search required to find something which I'll probably buy once or twice in my lifetime, not every day and everything else. So help me, right?
Yep.
But isn't that the other part of social media, e-commerce shopping,
Yep.
when people get addicted to it?
Yes.
That they're buying things which they don't need.
Can I quote the example of my missus at home?
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
You can.
Well, I mean,
I'm not stopping you.
I think for the past 4-5 days, I've seen deliveries to my place like every day, right? And I'm thinking, oh, we don't need this, we don't need that. I mean, why on earth? I mean, she's got time on her hands because she's retired,
Yes.
right? And she just sits on the sofa and starts going through, online shopping and think, why not we buy this? Why not we buy that? Right? I mean, a lot of the items that she buys are good to have rather than must have.
Right.
But she got time, she's got a bit of money to spend, right?
Right. So on that side, what I would suggest to people is that regardless whatever promotion, good deals and everything else, to stop yourself to get ahead of yourself, always have a budget.
Yes.
Right? Always have a budget,
Correct.
right? So sometimes if you really cannot curtail yourself, maybe then it's just good enough for you to stick to your old behavior, just going to normal NTUC, bringing your card, do your grocery shopping once a week, forget about e-commerce shopping, right?
Yes.
You always get back to the budget because you wouldn't expend so much for it. So if you were to spend, let's say, $200-$300 a week, and you're going to save something, you're going to save you 10%, 20%. But even the same behavior gets you to spend more to $350, I think it's time for you to stop.
I agree. It's a bit like, I'll give you an analogy. It's a bit like using a credit card.
Right.
If you use it for convenience, because you can't be, drawing cash all the time, paying $150, $200 in cash all the time,
Right.
a credit card is a very useful tool.
Right.
But it's not good if you are leveraging the credit card.
Exactly.
For example, like if your credit limit is 5,000, you're putting 6,000 on a credit card, and not paying.
Right.
And then obviously the interest will roll over, and then by the end of the year you'll find, you're paying a lot of money for interest. I think with online shopping it's the same. I use it for convenience.
Right.
For example, if I want to buy, let's say, 6 bottles of wine, I would buy online because I know somebody will deliver it to my door. Right?
Sure.
It saves me the hassle of going to a wine shop.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So just like that, within the blink of the eye, right? We've come to the end of the podcast, right? But I like to end this podcast just a summary of it. Leon, we started with scams, right? And we have a framework, and we talked about some good ways you can use it, right? But I want to end with a saying from this movie, Alice in Wonderland. The story Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
When Alice was going through a path and she asked Cheshire the cat, right?
Okay.
Cheshire the cat was corrected, right?
Yep.
And she asked him which way to go, right? And the cat replied, which way you want to go,
Okay.
right? And the moral of the story is that if you do not know which way you want to go, then any way is okay, right?
Yep.
So get a good financial planning, having a good financial plan with you. Trust me, guides you a long way. And then on that note, have a good day. We'll see you on the next podcast.
Cheers.